Seminoles, listen up. Big news out of Florida State University regarding Greek life. University President John Thrasher is rolling back portions of a ban on Greek life after the hazing-related death of a student. Fraternities and sororities will now have to meet stricter rules to stay on campus, but are slowly but surely gaining back some of their privileges. Recruitment and philanthropic events are back on the table. Social events and alcohol at school functions are still banned for now. Sorry about those technical difficulties. Speaking of FSU's Greek life, the 911 call that was made upon the discovery of FSU's Pi Kappa Phi pledge Andrew Kofi has been released. It was reported that Kofi's body was stiff and without a pulse by the time his fraternity brothers called 911. On the 10-minute call, you hear a dispatcher coaching someone through chest compressions as EMS officials arrive at the house. Sirens are heard in the background at about 8 minutes into the call. It was said that fellow pledges called fraternity members before they called 911. A total of 9 fraternity members faced 3-degree felony hazing charges. An employee of the Attorney General's office was hospitalized after being hit by a car while crossing the street Tuesday morning in downtown Tallahassee. Michael Gonzalez remains in the hospital after the crash. The driver of the Hyundai Sonata has been identified as 23-year-old Joseph Valley. The Attorney General's office sent an email notifying staff of the crash. The Tallahassee Police Department's Traffic Homicide Unit is continuing to investigate the accident. And anyone with information is asked to call TPD at 850-891-4200.
A train derailment in downtown Quincy caused for a busy street to be blocked off. The Pat Thomas Parkway was blocked off for most of Tuesday after a 7-car freight train headed for Waycross, Georgia, derailed. The crash happened just after 6 a.m., causing 2 of its rail cars to flip over. The cars then ruptured, leaking large amounts of a white powdery substance that police mistook for hazardous acid. It was later reported that the substance was not hazardous acid, but instead is used in gelatin food products. There were no injuries or environmental impacts reported. Legislative session in Tallahassee has already started, and one of the bills in review is Senate Bill 444, which provides support for pregnancy and wellness centers. Multi-skilled journalist Kayla Lawson has the details.
During the 2018 legislative session, one bill introduced by Senator Bean stirred up quite some controversy amongst Florida women. Senate Bill number 444. SB 444 is designed to promote and provide funding for pregnancy support and wellness services, specifically those that exclusively promote childbirth, meaning facilities that do not provide options for abortions. This bill, if passed into law, would require 90% of allocated funds to be given directly to the designated wellness center and require services to be provided in a non-coercive manner. The Committee on Health Policy held a hearing for this bill, amongst a few others, and it was clear that many in the audience were not in favor.
Describing yourself as a concerned citizen, waving against.
Amongst one of these disgruntled audience members was Barbara Wilson, a retired mental health worker from the Department of Corrections.
As I read through the bill, I saw no requirement for any licensure of any medical staff or any therapist. It seems like anybody can just whip out a little sign and become a therapist, become a counselor, and become a doctor. I'm totally against this bill.
While many citizens in attendance waved that they are against this bill, Senator Starkle, along with 11 other senators, voted yes.
I support the pregnancy care networks. I think it's another option for women. If a woman wants to choose to have her baby, wants the support and the wraparound that's necessary to help her have that to completion, those pregnancy centers do a great service in that area.
SB 444 was deemed favorable by the committee with a 12-6 vote. The act goes into effect July 1st of 2018.
This bill requires that the Department of Health to contract with the nonprofit statewide organization to provide services. Senate Bill 444 has been placed on the special order calendar for floor consideration for February 1st. Coming up on News 20 at 5, FEMA decides to pull its aid from Puerto Rico.
Also, President Trump gave his first State of the Union speech last night. We have that and more. Stay tuned. You're watching News 20 at 5.
Welcome back to News 20 at 5. I'm Aaliyah Wilkerson.
And I'm Shay Simon. Let's get into some national news with multi-skilled journalist Aaliyah Davis. Aaliyah.
Shay, it's been about 4 months since Hurricane Maria tore through the island of Puerto Rico, and FEMA has decided to end all food and water shipments. According to CNN, the island's government seemed blindsided by the sudden announcement, as they were still in the talks for an agency for a timetable on food distribution. FEMA says shipments will come to an end today, but they do still have more than 46 million liters of water and 2 million meals ready to eat, if need be. The aid provided to Puerto Rico has been the longest sustained distribution of food, fuel, and water in the agency's history. That's all I have for you. Aaliyah Davis, back to you at the desk.
Good evening and happy hump day. I'm Angelicia Bruton, and here's what's brewing in international news today. Without taking a look, President Trump says he is 100% willing to release classified documents on the Russia investigation following his first State of the Union address. Trump replied, "Oh yeah, don't worry, 100%," after he was asked to release the memo. Republicans say the memo may show improper use of surveillance by the FBI and the Justice Department. The president has 5 days to decide if he will release the memo. The State of the Union address appears to have put the president in a giving mood after an intense meeting with the White House correspondents. Trump says he is actually looking forward to meet with former FBI Director Robert Mueller. Trump took a moment to shame journalists for making the situation appear negative and give false interpretations to Americans. He says there's been no collusion whatsoever. There's been no obstruction. When asked if he would talk to Mueller under oath, the president vaguely replied, "Did Hillary do it under oath? No, she didn't." One person who is talking under oath, however, is Larry Nassar. After already receiving a 175 prison sentence, Nassar will battle the courts one last time for the molestation of female gymnasts. The judge has allowed for 60 people to come forward and confront Nassar and have their statements read aloud in court on Wednesday. So far, 57 want to speak out in courts and submit their statements. Nassar has already admitted to the penetration of 3 girls with his hands when he was supposed to be treating them for injuries.
Good evening and welcome to eLive. I'm Kayla Lawson here with the latest in your entertainment news. Former Glee actor Mark dead Tuesday morning near a riverbed in Sunland, California. According to TMZ, it is speculated that this was a suicide. Although Salling played everyone's favorite bad boy character Puck on Fox's hit musical comedy Glee, many had mixed feelings towards the actor himself. Salling pleaded guilty to charges of possession of child pornography in December of 2015 and was awaiting his sentence scheduled for March. He died at only 35 years old. The autopsy has yet to be released. Kim Kardashian West is yet again being dragged on Twitter for what some are calling another case of cultural appropriation. Kim posted a few revealing pictures in a white thong with a white sheer top, but what was causing most of the outrage was her new do. In all of the recent posts, Kim is wearing beaded cornrows, and she captioned one of the photos, Bo West, referring to the white movie actress Bo Derek, who rocked those same braids in the late 70s and early 80s. Kim received similar backlash a few years ago when she had her hair styled in 2 large cornrows and referred to them as boxer braids. Alessia Cara's recent Grammy win has a lot of people feeling bothered. Cara won an award for Best New Artist even though her first album came out 3 years ago. Cara went to Twitter to defend her Grammy win, saying that she has worked hard and is deserving of the win. Cara then went on to say that the industry continues the belief that an artist's talent and hard work should take a back seat to popularity and numbers. Some of the artists that Cara beat out included SZA, who had 5 Grammy nominations. SZA's first album, Control, was released less than a year ago and is already certified gold.
Welcome back. I'm Michaela Sherman here with your weather report. As we move into the next 5 days, we'll be seeing that the temperature will be around the upper 60s and lower 60s. Tomorrow, our high is 68 degrees with a low of 37. Friday, our high is 64 with a low of 37. Saturday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 63 and a low of 48. Sunday, unfortunately, we'll be having a little bit of rain with our high 68 with a low of 49. And our Monday, we'll have a high of 65 and a low of 55. That's all I have for you for the weather. Back to you all at the desk.
Welcome back. I'm Brandon Jones here with your sports. The FAMU Rattlers played hard against the Norfolk State Spartans this past Monday evening. However, their efforts weren't enough to secure the win. The men's basketball team played competitive against the Spartans throughout the whole night. The Spartans were able to hold off the advancements made by the Rattlers late in the game and picked up an 80-71 win. The Rattlers play Savannah State tonight in the Al Lawson Center. FSU's men's basketball team is gearing up to play against Wake Forest tonight. The Noles have had a good season so far and are tied for 5th place in the competitive ACC. The Noles won their last 3 games, with the most being against Miami, and have a very good chance of making it into the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year. James Harden made NBA history in a win against the Orlando Magic yesterday. Despite having Chris Paul out for the night, the Houston Rockets were able to outscore the Orlando Magic with a 114-107 win. Harden led the Rockets with an unbelievable 60-point triple-double. Not only is that an NBA season high for points, but it's also the first time an NBA player scored 60 points to go along with double-digit rebounds and assists. Harden also broke a long-standing Rockets scoring record held by Houston legend Calvin Murphy. For nearly 40 years, Murphy held the single-game scoring record for the Rockets with 57 points. Blake Griffin has been traded to the Detroit Pistons. This came as a shock to many, including Griffin himself. The Los Angeles Clippers traded Griffin in exchange for Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, Boban Marjanovic, and a couple of picks. Despite his number of injuries, the Pistons acquired Griffin and will be taking on his brand new max contract.
And that's going to do it for us tonight. For Michaela and Brandon, I'm Shay Simon.
And I'm Aaliyah Wilkerson. Thanks for watching. You all have a great evening.